turn it straight over to Coach Sweeney for his opening comments.
All right, good to see everybody again. Hope everybody's good. Obviously, we signed our class in December, but still a fun day to just kind of re-celebrate this amazing group of young people that are coming to Clemson, and a lot of them are already here. We signed 23 guys, as y'all know, in December, and 15 of them are mid-years. They're off to a great start. Just a lot of fun, you know, knowing that these guys are here and they'll be part of spring practice and just kind of, you know, getting everything down right now. They're all eager, they're learning. So you spend all this time recruiting them, and now you're actually getting a chance to really, you know, start coaching. So that part's been real exciting, and you know, we'll end up adding probably three or four walk-on guys between now and summer, you know, as well. So just a really good group, and as I always say, time will tell. You know, everybody wants to put rankings and all that stuff on these classes coming out of high school, which obviously that's all based on potential, what people, you know, think they can do, and as we all know, this is a developmental game. You know, Garoppolo, I just saw in the Super Bowl, I think he was a 2-star recruit. And, where'd he go? Eastern somewhere, Illinois or something like that. So you know, it's a very subjective process, influenced by many factors, and so we try to just stay focused on the things that we look for, and sometimes it matches up with what everybody else thinks, and sometimes it doesn't. But I think at the end of the day, this is a really good class that I think over time will prove to be a special group. I think we all think they're a special group right now, but you know, over time you have to prove that, and that's why I always say you should rank the classes, you know, 4 years later, because then it's truly about performance, it's about graduation, it's about development, and all those things. And I don't know, I think The Athletic just did an article. I'm not sure if you wrote it or not, Grace. I have no idea who wrote it.
It was Max.
Okay, well, whoever Max is, I don't know who Max is, but somebody sent it to me. Who sent that article to me? It was great. But basically, I guess they took the 2016 class. I think we were 11th, according to the article, and on the re-rank 4 years later, we were 1. And you know, so there you go. I just think, you know, if you sign the 15th class today, hey, just be excited about the class that you got and the guys that came to play for you. But that's just how I look at it. Again, I think that you got to go prove and earn that stuff over the course of time. But I love this group, and I do think they will prove to be one of the best groups we've had, and allow us to continue to be one of the most consistent programs in the country on and off the field. Because these are a bunch of really good students that are coming in here, and I think young people that are driven to be excellent in everything that they do. So in recruiting, it's always critical to fill your needs, and I think that we've done that for sure with the breakdown of this class. It's always hard to walk away from, you know, other great players. That's the hard part, because there's a lot of good, really good players that you know, we could have come to Clemson, but you know, we try to recruit to a number and you know, just, you know, fill our needs. I think we were able to do that for sure with these 23 guys. But what I love more about this group is I always say, you know, let's recruit people first, players second. And I think we got a bunch of great young people that just happen to be good football players. And so that's what I'm excited about, especially you know, going around and spending time with them and being around their families and so forth. But last year's class, we had 14 states represented. This year, 12 states. So, you know, and Canada, and you know, so Tony and Grish went up to Canada, I guess last week, so, you know, that's just really cool for me. Again, going into my 18th season here at Clemson, and just where our brand is, and the fact that we can, you know, go go out to California and recruit great players, or go to Texas, get a great player, or go to Connecticut, or go to Canada, or wherever. I just think it's just really, really cool. But with the criteria that we have in place, with the fit that we're looking for, with the academic expectations and the value of education and all those things that we value and have in place here, you know, we as our brand has grown, it has allowed us to expand and really be very selective on you know, who gets the opportunity to come here. And the kids that we are recruiting, they have the opportunity to be very selective too. So it's been a pretty good fit for us, you know, these last couple of years. But man, a great group. We signed 1 quarterback, as you know, 2 running backs, 6 offensive linemen, 1 tight end, 2 wideouts, 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 2 safeties, and 2 corners. And then soccer signed a kicker that we expect to be able to help us as well. So we're excited about all of that, and again, just very thankful. I don't think you can overstate that enough. Very thankful for this group of young men, this group of families that really came together. And a lot of these guys, I mean, they've formed great relationships already. So I'm just thankful for them that they chose to come and be a part of what we have here at Clemson. And really appreciative of our staff, because they do an amazing job. And just spending the last 2 weeks on the road every day, going all over and seeing some of our summer enrollees that aren't here yet, but you know, also seeing some of our top you know, upcoming senior prospects, and just the job that our staff has done in really you know, with their due diligence. And it's just a lot of fun. So our staff's done an amazing job, super proud of them, and really just can't wait to get started with this group, with this team. And the 15 mid-years that are here is going to be a lot of fun. We got a bunch of guys in that group that I think will have the potential to help us for sure. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to create a ton of competition this spring. And that's just the way it is. You know, it doesn't matter what you did last year, whether you won a national championship or you went 3-9. It really doesn't matter. You know, you got to start over, and you have to go and earn it all over again. And it's really that way at every level of football, because you have a new team, you have new people, you have development, guys get better, and so forth. So I'm excited about it. Again, having those guys here is going to be awesome. And this roster is pretty much here. We've got, I guess, what is it? I guess 8 mid-years, or excuse me, 8 summer enrollees that will come this summer to join the group. So, and we pretty much have the entire roster here this spring. So we're really fortunate in that, because that allows us to practice in a very competitive way and develop our team. So I'm really looking forward to it. Right now, as our roster sits and everything kind of settles out, I have no idea. Sometimes a guy will come to you, you know, after spring ball or something, and tell you he's not going to come back, and those type of things. And I can never predict those things. You know, Logan Rudolph's going to go. He's going to go be the new Rock. You know, he's going to be in the movies. I didn't see that coming. You know, although if that's what he wants to do, you better watch out, because he'll probably be the next action hero. I'm putting my money on him, that's for sure. So, you know, sometimes things happen, and you just don't know, you can't predict it. But where our roster sits right now, assuming everybody's back between now and the fall, you know, of our 120, we're going to have 42 seniors and juniors and 78 freshmen and sophomores. So that right now is the breakdown. And again, that could change between now and August, certainly, but that's where we sit as of today. So, you know, back-to-back years where I think we've got a young team, and that's reflective in our signing classes, you know, because we signed a big class last year, and for us, another big class this year, signed in 23. This next year's class will not be as big, but you know, that's just kind of the cycle that we're in right now, and you know, from a roster management standpoint. So we're ready to roll. We're going to take a little break, coaches have been grinding really since, I mean, we got back January the 14th, and I think we all passed out on the 15th, and we were right back at it on the 16th, and been gone really every day, except for a day, maybe a day on the weekend, recruiting and then back out. So it's been a crazy last couple of weeks, but a lot of fun, and exciting to get out and see a lot of people and meet people. But we're gonna take a little break after we got a little celebration tonight, a little barbecue in our indoor facility. We'll have some fun with that, and with this signing class, all the mid-years will be there. So we'll celebrate this group a little more formally tonight, and then we'll get back in here next Wednesday as a staff, and really crank it up. So we got a lot to do from a quality control standpoint, and really studying ourselves and reinforcing the strengths, and attacking some of the weaknesses, some of the things that maybe we didn't do so well. Obviously, it's a lot good. It was a great year, and we were one of the best out there offensively, defensively, really across the board. And we got a good group coming back, but it's still a different team. And so, identifying what our expectations are for the spring, the goals and objectives for offense, defense, kicking game for spring practice as a group, but also positionally as a segment. So those will be things that we'll be really spending the next couple weeks on, and again, looking at all of our data from the season, and then studying other people, something that we spend a lot of time on the spring doing, and just trying to get better, all of us. So our all-in drills, our mat drills will start next Wednesday. That's always fun for us, kind of first time to kind of get back on the field with our guys and start doing some football movement stuff, and really start kind of building the makeup of this team. And we're going to start practice February 26th, so it's kind of become our norm. We're the last off, and I don't know if anybody's starting before that, but if we're not the first, we're one of the first, back on the field, and I love that. We're very blessed that we've been able to have a lot of time to keep practicing and staying basically in football shape. You go all the way as far as we did. So turn the page, let's get on the field. We got a lot of guys eager to get out there and get at it, and that's what we're going to do. And then our spring game will be April the 4th. A great group, and excellent, a fun day. I don't know if y'all are coming to the barbecue tonight, but we'll have a little more in-depth conversation about those guys. With that, I'll take your questions.
Coach, what about two walk-ons today, Hunter Helms and Bubba McAtee?
Yeah, I can't talk about the walk-ons today. I think I'll be able to, I think once we start spring practice, I think once they kind of get through all the application stuff they got to go through, then I can formally talk about the guys that, like I said, there'll be 3 or 4 guys out there that we'll bring in this summer, but compliance said I could not formally talk about that today. So there you go.
Coach, I'd like to get your first impressions of DJ, and obviously everybody knows about his arm talent, but many have characterized him as more of a Ben Roethlisberger type as far as his running ability, but Coach Streeter was telling me that his athleticism is really underrated. Does he fit what you like to do pretty well, just from a running quarterback standpoint?
He can do anything. That's what they said about Trevor too when he came in. He apparently wasn't a guy that could run. I think that myth has gone out the window. DJ can do anything you want to do. I mean, he's fast and strong, and powerful, and he's a very, very athletic guy. So there's nothing that we need him to do that he can't do.
Yeah, but what does it mean to have Travis back? And was any part of you surprised that he decided to come back?
Well, I mean, the answer is no. I was initially surprised a little bit because he really told me before the bowl game that he was really leaning to coming back. Because usually when I meet with these guys, and we have a ton of information, and Woody does a great job really kind of managing all that, and meeting with the scouts and getting the grades and really getting a detailed report on exactly where these guys are. Not all the .com stuff, but exactly where they are, and it's just very important. And so I just, when I meet with these guys, because sometimes, you know, it's a waste of my time. You know, so I always ask them, I'm like, you know, before I ever even tell them anything, I'm like, what's your mindset right now? Because I've had some guys, it doesn't matter what I tell them. I mean, I could tell them, you know, I've had some guys that I've told, you're not going to be drafted. And they'll look at you and say, I think I will, and they leave. So, okay, you know, at the end of the day, they got to make the decision. And they have their mind made up. And I mean, so there's really no sense in us sitting around, you know, having a big in-depth conversation if they've got their mind made up. But I will say, well, here's kind of where it's going to be, you know, and they'll say, well, I'm good with that. And then sometimes you have guys that see the bigger picture, and some guys are patient, some guys are not patient. You know, everybody's motivated by different factors, and they have different dynamics in their lives, whatever. You know, it's really unpredictable that way. I usually ask them kind of where you are. And so when I sat down with Trav, that was the first thing I said. I said, you know, I knew what his grade was. I knew what the comments were. And I said, you know, tell me what you're thinking right now before we get into this. And he said, honestly? And I was like, yeah. He said, I'm thinking about coming back, coach. And I went, really? So that surprised me a little bit, because I felt like he was probably going to be more, well, I really want to just kind of see what you got to say before I get into it. But he really was kind of leaning that way. And I said, well, why is that? And he said, told me why. And I said, okay, well, we got a conversation that we need to have then. Here's this information, and let's talk about it, and let's talk about what that means, and so forth. But so I wasn't surprised after the bowl game that, you know, he said, hey, I'm coming back, and he was pumped up to tell me, and he's enjoyed his time, and I think that for him, you know, he got a second round grade, and I think for him, you know, if he leaves here as a second rounder next year, I mean, he'll do cartwheels. But he's got his degree. He feels like he's a little more, you know, ready. He feels complete. And I just think, you know, leaving early for him as a second rounder, I think he felt a little incomplete. And so I think he's the best back in the country in this period. But you know, I mean, obviously I'm pretty biased when it comes to that. But he's got a great future ahead of him, and I'm excited about the fact that he's back. He'll be a great leader. He's been awesome already. You know, we got him for another, I don't know how long, we don't have not long, but 9-10 months or so, 9 more months or so. But I do think that's got a chance to really pay off for him. So it should be fun. It's nice to know he's back. I'd already given his number 9 away. Had about 10 people want his number 9. These little boys, man, they're vultures. Vultures around here with them numbers. So had a line of guys with 9. I'm like, yeah, not so fast. Find another number.
How did he tell you?
How did he tell me? Well, he called. He called me and Woody, and we were having a team meeting. I think it was that Friday. We were having getting ready to start recruiting, and you know, I like to kind of get a new team together and kind of give everybody some direction when you come off that last game, because it's kind of limbo time. So we were getting ready for a weekend and our banquet and all that stuff, and so he called me before that and told me he was on his way back, and he took a day and about 2 days to really think about it and talk through it with his family, and so that's what I found out. Just called.
Dabo, with the change in the recruiting signing dates to December and the success of the program going so further into the year, how much has that affected you guys as far as implementing your recruiting plans?
It hasn't really changed anything for us, to be honest with you. I mean, if you guys that follow us, y'all know the great majority of our class has usually been committed in the summer, usually by August. So to be honest with you, most of our guys would sign in August if they were allowed to. So it really hasn't changed anything for us. The only thing that has changed is we actually take that day in December to, you know, sign the guys. That's really the only thing, and that's been fun. Just kind of the last couple of years. It's just a part of what we do. But that part hasn't changed anything. You know,
About
we don't do
logistics.
spring. We don't do spring official visits. You know, a lot of people do those. That's a new rule that passed a couple of years ago. We've not done any. We don't do any spring official visits. You know, I just think that again, it's easy to take an official visit. It's a little more hard. It's a little harder to come on your own, and but you got to really be interested to come on your own. So it's just kind of been our philosophy. That's what we do. It hasn't changed anything for us, with the exception of it's changed our January for the better, because you know our guys they've all signed, and so now instead of spending all of January, you know, riding around, you know, chasing. Well, a lot of our guys are mid-years too. You know, for whatever reason, that's kind of what happens in today's culture. So last year I think we had 17 mid-years. This year we got 15. So most of those guys would be signing anyway in here. So the opportunity those guys have to get it out of the way, it's been great. It's been great for us. It's been great for them. And so we still go see those guys in January that aren't here yet. But really it allows us to kind of get a head start in our evaluation for next year's class and start, you know, really working hard on that due diligence and zeroing in on next year's group.
Yeah, but what was your conversations with Chase? Ultimately, his decision to go to Duke there.
Yeah, it was great. You know, we spent a lot of time talking together, and you know, I called David. We talked about what the options were, and you know, just making sure we get in the right situation, the right spot. I mean, I love Chase. He's been amazing, and to me, just you know, as I've said many times, graduation should create opportunities and options for young people. It's just the way it is, and you know, he's put the work in. And he came to Clemson, he achieved what he came here to do, and the fact that he's gotten his degrees created some other opportunities. It's like another senior, you know, moving on, whether they're moving on to a job or they're moving on to the NFL. And what he did on the field here has also created opportunity for himself. It's not like he's some slug that nobody knows. I mean, this guy can play. I think he's a pro, personally. I think he's a guy that's going to really have a great shot to play at the next level. I think we had the two best quarterbacks in the ACC on the same team last year. It's what I think. I think he's that good. And so, you know, I tried to give him some, he was great. And especially how he handled it. Because I'm going to tell you, Chase, he prepared every single week as if he was the starter. And he was into every play. I mean, you know, Chase and I would talk a lot during the games. And he's very in tune to the game, very in tune to Trevor. You know, making suggestions, tell me what he sees, and he was almost like a coach, but he was very in tune to what's going on, and just such a selfless young man, so committed to his role, and so prepared to go win the game. And you know, he played. I think he probably played the most snaps of any backup in the country, where the starter didn't get hurt. I mean, so he's got a lot of tape, and a lot of opportunity to play and develop. I think that was important to me, for him to have that opportunity, because he deserved it. And you know, so you know, we never even talked about it. Never. First time, you know, I assumed maybe it would be something he would consider, but he wouldn't even entertain the conversation ever. He was just focused on what he was doing and this team and being a great teammate and being ready for his team. So, you know, he once the season was over, he called me when we got back, and we had a good talk about it. We met, and we talked about kind of some options and kind of what we were looking for and what he was looking for, and you know, I'm very, very happy that it worked out for him to go to Duke. And you know, I called David. We had a great conversation. Coach Cutt's one of the best people I know. I mean, he's one of the top 2 or 3 people that I would call for anything. And so just a ton of respect for him. And I think, and obviously he's got a great background with quarterbacks. And so I think it's a good fit. He's got a couple of high school teammates up there. So I think it's a great opportunity for Chase, and super exciting for him.
Dabo, how have the guys handled the past month? Because a lot of them hadn't lost before. Didn't
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
Have they
Yeah.
come back and handled things the right way and,
Yeah.
got focused the way you want them to get focused?
Absolutely. I mean, listen. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's a tough thing to lose. I was at the Super Bowl this weekend. And I was really, really excited for the Chiefs and our guys. But man, I was really, really down for the other team because I've been on both sides, and oh man, it's tough. You put so much into it, and the season has to end. But you know what? I'd rather have to deal with that feeling than to never get there. And I like the fact that we were a ACC champion team, we were a Fiesta Bowl champion team, a playoff win, and a few plays away. And we got beat by a great team. And when you play in the games like that, you're going to play a great team. We're 6-3 in the playoff era in those games, and they're hard. They're hard to win, and you got to make the winning plays. And there were some winning plays that we didn't make that they made, so they won the game. And but our guys competed, man. Our preparation was unbelievable. I mean, just tremendous preparation, focus, commitment. I mean, I can't be more proud of our team. And so, it was a great year. But as you said, the great majority of our roster never lost a game. And so, from that standpoint, it was something that I paid close attention to, especially with Trevor. I've never experienced a loss with him, but it was. He was amazing. How he handled it, how the team responded, and back to work. It was a gut punch. I mean, just for sure. You're down for a couple of days, and especially with our profession and with what these kids are doing. I mean, we all come up short sometimes in life. We all have disappointment. We all fail according to the objective. But most of the time, that failure, that disappointment, is confined to a small group of people, or just your business that you have, or your family. But with what we do, it's it's in front of everybody. And you feel that pain, you feel that burden, because you want to get it done. So again, I've been on both sides of it, and I know the agony of it, and I know the joy of it. But it's all good. It's all good, and it's all part of life and the journey, and you got to love it all, man. You can't have fear, that type of stuff. And you just grow. You just grow. Either way, you grow. And that's a decision and a choice, how you respond to the win, how you respond to a tough loss. And our team has been amazing. The leadership's been great, and it's been good for me to be able to kind of see that, because again, so many of these guys. I was convinced we were never going to lose again, like ever, like 250 in a row and right off into the sunset. But we're probably not going to win the national championship every year. But hopefully we can be a team that's got a shot year in and year out. And if we can continually be a team that's got a shot, then we'll have those years where we'll finish it. And it just takes so much to get there, so our guys have done a great job.
Trevor was okay.
Trevor was great. He was very disappointed.
Yeah.
He was disappointed, but his leadership was tremendous. He went around the whole locker room, talking to his team and his teammates, and these guys have been great. So as a competitor, I have a great respect for the team that won, because they won it. And you shake their hand, you tip your hat, and you dust yourself off, and you get back up, and you get back in the fight, and that's what we're gonna do. Man, it's over. It's over. So it's a new year. It's like I said, a new decade, and a new journey. And for us, we're 3 weeks from today. We're back on the field, man, and we're gonna start the process of building this 2020 team, and getting ready. For 6.5 months, we get back on the field, going to Atlanta. Our schedule's out. I can start kind of visualizing that a little bit. And again, most of our guys are here, so we can start really molding the team and see what we can do next year.
Coach, you lose 3 of your top 4 safeties. How much do you think Mickens and Venables will be able to come in and be for that 2 deep with Zanders and Thornton and Charleston and Turner, those guys that you got coming back?
Well, they're here, so they're going to have the opportunity this spring, so that helps them for sure. But let me tell you, we knocked it out of the park with these guys we got. Our roster is very good. Obviously, having Nolan back, and now you throw in Zanders and Charleston, and we redshirted Ray and Jalen Phillips. We hit on all those guys. All those guys can play, all of them. I mean, we're really fortunate with the group that we have, and now you throw in Mickens and T-Bone, man, you got a group right there. So we're gonna be just fine. Same thing at corner.
Coach, DeMarcus Bowman gets named Mr. Football in Florida today. Can you tell us a little bit more
Oh,
about
that happened today?
Yes, happened.
Yeah, he's special. I mean, he's another version of Spiller. That's kind of when I first put my eyes on him, and that's pretty high praise, you know. And he's a long way from that, but as far as just high school tape and explosiveness and track speed, legit track speed, the ability to catch the football, you know, every time he touches it, he literally can, you know, go the distance, could return and those type of things. I mean, I think there's a lot of similarities between the two, you know, coming out of high school. He's a little thicker, probably than CJ was, but he's got that type of explosiveness, and it's easy to see, you know, coming out of the system that he's been playing in.
Injury-wise, are there any guys that might miss the start of spring?
Well, Niles is a guy that's still nursing back his ankle, and so he's rehabbing through that. You know, we'll know more once we get here through these next 3 weeks. But Booth we had to clean his knee up. You know, he should be back. Might be a little limited early, but at some point he should be able to get back out there and do what he needs to do this spring. He really kind of battled through it all fall, but it was still good for him to get the experience that he got. So that'd probably be the main two. Then, you know, as far as guys like McClure, we know's out, and Maloney and Constantine, those guys might be able to do some individual type stuff, but nobody really knew. Nothing new that's come up other than you know, whether or not Niles, where he's going to be with his rehab schedule.
Is Blake Vincent someone you hope can play this spring?
Yeah, and I think Blake, I don't know if he'll be cut loose for the spring, but I do think he'll be able to get a significant amount of work, you know, football work, football movement type work. I don't know that he'll be cut loose to like go scrimmage, but hopefully he'll be able to get back into the groove of football and you know, just the footwork and some drills and things like that. Snapping, he's a guy that, you know, one of those guys that we cross-train. So we're hopeful.
What was some of the feedback Travis got as far as what he needs to improve on?
Oh, I'm not going to get into all that. I mean, it's pretty nitpicky, if you ask me. If I was in the draft this year, he'd been my guy if I needed a running back. I know there's other great running backs out there, but he's pretty special. But you know, we'll talk about those things. We've talked about them, and then we'll go through spring, and we always do exit interviews April, May, and we'll talk about some specific things that they need to do, but not going to get into all the stuff that was reported because it's pretty detailed. But you know, from a big picture standpoint, he just needs to continue to be consistent, just continue to be a complete player in every aspect of it. And I think he's done that. I mean, he just needs to just stay the course.
When you look at the way that y'all have recruited D-line over the past several years, what's been the biggest key to that?
Well, evaluation. I mean, I think that's the really big key. We've been on the right guys, and you know, really not just the last couple of years, really since I've been the head coach. I think. I mean, I just think our ability now to go, you know, 10 years ago we weren't going to go get Ron Brzee. 10 years ago we weren't going to get Christian Wilkins. You know, so we've had to really evaluate well, and you know, Grady Jarrett, and then development. Grady, Deshaun, Josh Watson, Miguel, Malachi, Shaq. We've had some Dodd. Dodd was a guy I don't even think anybody knew who he was. He was a great player. Vic was a developmental guy. So I think we had to really evaluate well. And occasionally we got the guy that everybody wanted, but not all the time. So evaluation and development has been our key. And then as we've had success, we've been able to get more of a finished product type of a guy. A Christian Wilkins, a Dexter Lawrence, Andre Branch. I go back to Andre. Andre was a 2-star recruit. So that's the biggest difference. It's just the guys. A lot of these guys coming in now. Now we took 2 developmental guys last year in Rook and ET. Really high potential guys, but they only played football their junior and senior in high school. They were soccer players and basketball players, but high potential. So, but definitely developmental. And some of these guys now that we're signing, they're just much further along when you watch them. That's why everybody in the country is recruiting them. Is they're just kind of guys that can, like a Christian, like a Dexter, who can pretty much help you the day they show up. So that's the biggest difference. Our evaluation is still critical. Our development is still critical, but just where we are brand-wise, we're just attracting more of a finished